My name is Matt Hamilton. I'm from Austin, Texas.
My name is Genevieve Mimi. I am from Montreal, Canada.
My name is Anders Nordenskjöld and I'm from Sweden, and right now I'm doing an internship at the High Commissioner of Human Rights, right down behind me.
From your experience, what are the main issues confronting interns today in Geneva?
There are many issues confronting interns in Geneva today. The most important for me is that there's only a slight population of the world that's actually coming here to intern. Since Geneva is such an extremely expensive city, and since most internships are unpaid, it's only people that come from very wealthy families and very wealthy countries that have the possibility to come here. This leads to a misrepresentation of the people working in these international organizations who are here to represent the whole world.
I think the most obvious issue for most interns in Geneva is that they're not paid. It's an extremely expensive city, everybody knows that, but for some reason the system hasn't changed. And I think that one of the main issues that the interns are facing is kind of continuity. Nobody really stays here longer than 3 months, 6 months. So in terms of trying to organize something, a movement, or pressing for a stipend, something like that, I think it's extremely difficult because people are constantly coming and going. I think that the second issue is that a lot of people are afraid to speak up. They're in a really vulnerable situation because they're looking for a good recommendation letter at the end of this internship, and they don't want to kind of mess it up by speaking out of turn. So I think that a lot of people are afraid to speak up for their rights, which is a shame.
I think issues in Geneva for interns are 3 different kind of folds. One of them is the fact that organizations sometimes don't have the structure or the budget or the resources to address interns' needs outside of their organization. By that I mean help with finding an apartment and things like that. Because in Geneva it is a big issue to find a place to stay. To find a place is difficult, but once you find a place, it's expensive or maybe it's not very suitable. So this is one aspect, and organizations don't always have the capacity to address that. On the second hand, within the organizations, interns have different roles. Some interns are interns as in learning and doing a little bit of work, give and give, or win-win situation. But at other times, interns are bored because their capacities or resources or knowledge are not used. Or on the other side, sometimes interns are used as cheap labor.
I think that internships play a direct role in the youth employment crisis that we're seeing now. I think that a lot of positions that were once kind of entry-level are being replaced with unpaid internships, especially in the public sector. So the UN, national governments, and nonprofits. More often when you go to job search, you find unpaid internships. You don't find paid positions. So I think that internships are playing a direct role in this, and people are often getting trapped in this kind of cycle of one unpaid internship after the other, rather than finding paid work.
I think internships relate very much to the way that the youth employment situation in the world looks today. Since it's so hard for graduates to find a job, many of them are forced to do internships instead. But if you look at it from the other way, since it's so easy for companies to find interns, why should they hire people who they actually have to pay? So by just changing the perspective of how you look at the problem, you might find the solution.
I think that the only way that international organizations are going to address the issue of unpaid interns is if interns actually speak up and make it known that this is an issue, that people can't afford to live in cities like New York and Geneva without being paid. I don't think that they're really gonna do it of their own volition. I think that it's gonna have to come from young people saying, hey, I think that we deserve rights and we deserve to be paid.
As internships are becoming more common and playing a bigger part in organizations such as mine, the issue of interns is also being put on the global agenda. I think that we see across Europe and across the world a grouping of many interns associations talking about this internships issue. We also see permanent institutions such as the European Commission dealing with this issue, and at the ILO it's been discussed for a while now. So The situation of interns is relevant to a lot of people today, and more people are realizing that. And I think that together, as these organizations start talking to each other, we can find a solution. One such solution can be something that has been drafted by the European Youth Forum, a quality charter on internship rights. This is basically a bill of rights for interns. Simple guidelines on what an internship should be and should not be, and how to make those guidelines happen. If we could have more and more organizations and people acknowledge a document such as this, I think we have won half the battle.
I think that one of the key messages from the Youth Employment Forum was that young people today need to get organized. They need to, start movements. And I think that whereas maybe 50, 60 years ago that would have been taking to the streets and protesting, I think for our generation it can be much simpler. It can be something as easy as a Facebook campaign, an online petition. But basically the message from the forum was that we need to get organized and we need to start demanding our rights.